the humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you are lucky enough to be doing it too. I'm Bushka on Blitz, and I am back with a community service announcement. Right now, you need to lock your doors and stay inside because there is a plague of injustice circulating around our fair game. And you're going to see it very, very quickly at the start of this game. Watch the Buffalo girl on the outside here. Boom! Gone. There are 1,000 Tourette's tanks running around out there with an inability to stop pressing the forward button and a fantastic ability to die before the clock hits 6 minutes. Basically, Tier 7 has become the playground of people who like to drive forward at great pace and get wrecked. You can see here there are 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mediums and lights on the enemy team, which is obviously meaning the strong armour profile of the Dracula and the LTTB should be right up front where all 5 guns can hit them at once and they can get the most bounces and achieve a steel wall. There we go, 1 down, 6 minutes 13. Good God. Let's drop another. Why don't we all drive right up in front of the red guns and do our level best? And there's the third one. So that's 3 down in 50 seconds. I mean, really, there was only 20 seconds worth of firing there, wasn't there, boys and girls? And that game is over. And that's how it's going right now. Don't despair. If you're out there wondering who put what in the water and why the Yolo clowns are everywhere, you're not alone. Have heart. Be happy, because things will change. They will go back to where they were previously. Every game is a sea of Van Helsings and Dracula tanks just doing their level best. And this is pretty much every game at the moment. Whenever I'm playing in any other tank at Tier 7, it seems to be just a ginormous, heartfelt effort attempting to carry a great weight upon my shoulders, and I simply am not man enough to do it. Now, that's not to say that Tier 7 is the only tier where this is happening. The 3 times XP weekend that's currently going on, everything. In fact, the safest tier I've found out of all the tiers right now is Tier X, Tier 10. Because it seems most of the really good players are down in Tier 7 ripping people to bits in Van Helsings, and everyone else is just kind of scrambling around up the top. So this is what's been going on a lot lately, and it can be like this. But make no mistakes, it's happening for everyone. There's a lot of really big wins and really big losses, and there's very, very little in between. And I'm going to show you a couple of those kind of games today. This is basically my angst-ridden plea for mercy from the gaming gods. I've been doing very well on my Bushka account on Asia. I think I'm running about 70% for the last 30 days, as always. But I've been making sure when I play that account, I'm playing really strong tanks like IS-3 Defenders and T-54s and the like. Because canoodling about on the contributor account in lovely tanks like the Panther and such, I'm just coming across teams like this where it's very, very difficult to actually find the will to go on and live. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Even in Tier X, there is no... You're not safe. I mean, look at that. Those 3 dudes down the bottom got rocked. Dracula is a plague upon the earth in both a mythical sense and Bram Stoker's got a lot to answer for. Look at this map. They have 5 big TDs. And I say straight up to Swiss at the start, I foresee a cap win in the future. But you're going to see possibly one of the worst distributions of a team in the history of Blitz. A T-54 is going to go to the far left corner. His name's Surin. I'll state this right here. Surin's either a child or an idiot. Because the T-54 is going to go to the far left corner and sit there and do nothing. The Conqueror is going to go up the top left in the middle and snipe. Our 3 TDs are going to crawl up the back wall. And Swiss and I are kind of screwed. We can't really do much else. And you can see me here telling the TDs to move. You have no spotters. You're going to die. The Yag Tiger's still climbing up the back wall. Basically, I think their theory is that when they fire, they'll be invisible. I don't know how they come across this. And you're going to see in just a second One of them is going to go down and fire at the enemy SU-122 who sticks his head over the top of the ridge in the middle of the map, and he's going to get hashtag wrecked. And he's dead. Look at this distribution. That is incredible. The T-54 you can see in the top right corner is literally hiding in the back pocket of the map. The Conqueror is sniping from above us. We end up getting 5 tanks in us near the cap circle there. Not much we can do. And this is how it ends. It was a joyous occasion. I rose up, I raised my arms in the air, and I shouted, "Vive la Blitz! Can't get enough of the good stuff. Bring it on." You've got to balance that, obviously, with just YOLOing. And that's what I tend to do nowadays. If I'm having struggles, I just load up the YOLO wagon. This thing is an absolute godsend for those of you who like to get out there and bash. And I'm going to show you a couple of games. One of them will be in the YOLO wagon, where it had a really, really tough run with, I think it was Pimp Daddy or Snake. Oh, watch this clown in the T-54. This has been happening a lot lately, an awful lot. T-54, we're going to the corner. If we take the corner, we'll be fine. All he's got to do is go to the corner. He's going to go across me and then just stop. Just going to stop. There you go. Just get wrecked, Bushka. Thanks very much. You're a champion. Well done, T-54. Yeah, that game went really, really well. Look at this. I mean, this has been a phenomenal exercise in futility over the last few days. If you want to play anything other than a strong tank, you're a better man than I am. I am running the VK2801 with my good mate Josh A of the Grump clan. Another one of the Men of Grump. The calendar will be out soon. The big nude Men of Grump calendar. I'll put your orders in early. And we'd had a tough time. We'd been playing tier 7. And basically what we thought was we keep ending up in tier 8 games, and we kept ending up with the most riotous assortment of mad YOLOing draculas the world has ever seen. We were down 2 tanks at the start of nearly every game, almost instantaneously. And you can see here, we've decided to swap to the VK28s, because the 28's a really, really strong tank. And if you can't win in a platoon of these things, even against tier 7 tanks, you're not doing it right. And that's what we're doing. We're running the VKs. I make a huge error here. I'm going for this guy down here. A KV-1S pops up in front of me, and we're just using, you can see we're playing really simple tactics. They've camped spawn. There's a KV-2 just on the left there, but so far he's not showing any signs of having shots on me or tunneling me, and that's fine. So I pull back. I hit the KV-2, pull back, and then he moves forward, that KV-1S, and I assume that the KV-2 is now going for the KV-1S, and he's not at all. He's tunneling me, and he belts me, and that's a huge, big hit. In fact, we're probably lucky that it wasn't more, and he didn't put HE through a weak point and actually smash me. So it's now looking a bit grim. But we've been facing tough odds all day, and I mean, we've had a lot of experience at 2-on-4, 2-on-5 so far during the course of this run. And that's pretty much what's going to happen here. And I don't have the hit points, and there's just a big bunch of heavies and a KV-2 and everything down there, and they're waiting for me to come out, and I can't really afford another derp from the KV-2. So what I'm doing is trying to flit around to the edges of the map, get shots on that MT-25 and co, while Josh holds that left-hand side. And this is one of the great things about driving a light tank, and it's why a light tank with a little bit of armour like the VK, a good gun, a really good gun in fact. The VK's got a lovely gun. Speed, bit of gun depression, all those kind of things can work absolute wonders. Because you can see I've ducked all the way around here, and I'm now in a position to support my teammate there. We've got crossfire, and we've got it down to 3-on-5. The MT-25's gone now, and the T1 Heavy now. I'm resetting the camo because you can see they are gunning for me, and this has been happening to me an awful lot lately. Even on the contributor account, the amount of people who are tunneling this account and the Bushka account, it's phenomenal. If I'm in game and it's just gone past a joke, people will drive from miles and miles away to get shots in on me, and it's becoming very, very prevalent. And it can be very helpful to your win rate at times, but it can also be very, very frustrating at times. I thought of actually doing a video where I just showcase all these different things. And you can see now, Josh and I take another one out. So that's now, from 2-on-5, it's down to 2-on-4. But I don't have the hit points. And I'm going to suggest to Josh that we drag ass over here to the left. Although, there's the KV1 calls me a camper. Good God. I've been down to their spawn and all the way back around the map, and I'm now a camper. What a clown. Asshole. Good on you, KV1. Stay dead, buddy. I've got my hands full over here running into tanks that move really quickly, like that dead carcass of a tiger. So you're faced with the real situation here of either go hard or go home, because really these tanks can carry when you drive them properly, and I don't know what was going on here. It's like I'm driving drunk, and considering the fact that I don't actually drink, that's not quite right. And this T-3485 is doing the right thing. He's chasing me down. He just gets the shot on me very, very shortly here, and it sets me on fire. We catch it just before, and we're ducking and weaving. And what we're trying to basically do here is pretty simple. And you should consider doing it in 1-on-3s and such when you've got big heavies and only one medium or no mediums at all to deal with. If you've got enough map space and you drive around really fast, you tend to break them up, and it can give you time to finish them off one target at a time. And that's exactly what we're working on doing here. Josh has managed to find the KV2 in the cap circle. He's more than capable as a driver of going around a big heavy tank like that. The T-3485 is going to push down on Josh. I've got shots across, and I'm going to take all of them. Now is not the time to be faint-hearted. Josh is in the cap dueling with this 3485, and you know, we've straight away managed to get him in a situation where it is now 1-on-2, and this has broken them up, completely broken them up, and it's a really, really good, and now it's 2-on-1, and all we've got to do is be careful, and we will walk away winners. And from a situation where it was 2-on-5 and looking really, really dire, we've dragged that back, and that was a really good game. Josh finishing off the KV1 there, and the KV1 who called me an asshole, congratulations, you're on YouTube being a clown. Big platoon carry, and it was needed because it had been a very, 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 very tough day at the office prior to that. Nearly 2k from me, just over 2k, and 5 kills for Z Radley Walters from Big Josh. Now, this is why I had struggled. Snake Eyes is in the 62A. I was dead tired. I never stay up late, and this was late. The missus went out for drinks with her friends, and I started playing with Snake, which was a mistake. I should have been in bed, and I was so tired and just getting wrecked game after game in the heavies. I was in the IS-4, so I jumped in the Yolo wagon and just loaded up the Premo and let loose Maximus. And what I'm going to do here is show you a spot you've probably seen me use before. I'm trying to get around to get shots on this STB1, and this is one of the best things about having mates in game. Snake knows the pain. He understands where I'm at, and he knows I'm just struggling to get by, and he's basically going to just carry me or keep me on ice. He tells me I was on voice chat, and he's just saying, just go to the back and snipe. Just see how you go. It's like a nice hug. Bit of a crap shot there. I'm leaning forward. I swear to God, I must have been drunk. I don't know what they were feeding me, but it wasn't good stuff. We're into the waffle tractor, switching out to the HE here, and this is a really good spot because this bush has really good camo. You can fire, reset your camo, drive forward, and we do have, I believe, we've got binoculars on this tank as well, which is very, very helpful, even though the gun arc is not particularly fantastic. Now, its rate of fire is incredible, and although it doesn't have the rate of fire of, it doesn't have quite the DPM of the Yag Tiger, its armour is much, much, much better. One of the most trollish armour profiles in the game. It's got spaced armour on its upper glacis, either side of the gun mantlet, and the gun mantlet's kind of like a feast or famine. If you can slip a shot in under the gun mantlet or around the edges while it's moving, then you can actually get away with a full pen HE shell. But if the gun mantlet is angled and they're not firing Premo, it's very, very likely that they're going to bounce anyway. So it's tough. The lower glacis is the best bet, but it's a very, very thin strip. And you can see here, we're just moving backwards and forwards, making use of the excellent gun And I'm firing Pramo because I couldn't be stuffed. They're going down or I'm going down one way or another. This is the last game of the night and I'm not going to lose it for lack of penetration. Things are really interesting here because that mouse has moved out of the cat circle and he's gone on the left. I've reset the camouflage and I'm not actually certain if the mouse can see me. And you can see now it's 4 on 4. I'm looking for a shot on this Yag Tiger and just sneaky. Nothing much there. And that is an absolute donkey. Well done, Bushka. You're a clown. The FV4202 though is like found money for this tank. Look at these shots. I was so tired. I was just determined not to lose. So was Snake. You can see him up there with the mouse. He's just playing possum with him. The FV4202 is a big problem because if he had a push down here, we would have been in licorice all sorts. However, what the FV doesn't have is more than 268 millimeters of pen. And so what I'm banking on is that he's going to keep trying to penetrate behind this bush, my upper glacis and gun mantlet. And that's exactly what he's doing. And that means that I get to absolutely go to town with well over 3,000 DPM, just about 4,000 DPM when you drop adrenaline with your vents and rammer. I don't have vents actually with your rammer involved because it's an open-topped vehicle. You don't get your vents. So we just chewed that FV4202 up alive because he was silly enough to keep going. And that's tough because he obviously only needed one hit and he thought he'd get it. And the gun mantlet looks like it's an easy pen, but it's just not. And now comes the real tough part. Now, much like we were with Josh in the last game, we're rolling away from that Jagdpanzer E100 because we want to find that VK and isolate him. Now, Snake's up there in the 62A, and the VK is very tough. It's got big numbers on it, and we go for a Hail Mary there just because, you know, probably worth a shot. And I should have just pushed on straight here, but I took an extra couple of seconds there, and they prove absolutely crucial. It comes right down the wire up here because Snake Eyes is brawling the VK, and the VK was just about a full hit point pull. Very hard tank to penetrate from the front, so Snake has to get round, and he's going to bounce a couple of key ones, and he's right on the last bit of joy and justice here. We get one in right at the front, and another, and there's all that APCR we wasted earlier, and we've got it back to 2 on 1, and Snake and I have about 30 hit points between us. It couldn't get much closer than this. And this is where the poor old Jagdpanzer E100, who hasn't done anything particularly wrong, gets in absolute licorice all sorts, because he, unfortunately, is a very big, very slow, very tubby pie-eating tank. And I'm just going to wait till Snake Eyes gets over there, and then I'm going to push down, because once I'm sure that Snake's in position, I'm happy to take the hit. Snake can always get down and get stuck into this Yag, whether he likes it or not. And there we go. We just want to make sure this first hit goes in. You can see how tight I was just getting through that one. My good golly. And we got it done. Absolutely massive damage there. 6,104. The mastery badge in the 263. And that's what the Yolo Wagon's for, really. Just spam the promo, charge at them, do your best, and when you're feeling down, lift your spirits up with a big bunch of YOLO justice. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Keep your chins up out there. I know it's tough at the moment. The weekend, Time 3 weekends, and the recent event have caused an absolute fervor of fast-moving YOLO-tastic tanks to infiltrate Tier 7 and 8, and even to a degree at Tier 6. You face 7 quite a bit there. Keep your chins up. Walk tall. You'll get through this. We all will if we do it together. And remember, it's just as bad for the other bastards on the other side who have to struggle through the next match where they get the guys on your team. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Lock, load, and love each other a lot. Look after your families and stay safe on the battlefield.